problem with atheism is it is attempting to assert a resolution to the problem of God by implying that the concept of God can be manipulated, comprehended in a realm of logic and thought, which it cannot.
So, God is illogical and requires no thought. At last, a believer with whom I agree. Let's do this. Greetings, fellow space travelers. BionicDance here. I don't know about you, but I'm tired of videos about the meaning of atheism, about terminology, about how to accurately describe our position. Fortunately, that's only a tiny, tiny portion of this video. It's more about what we believe than what to call it. Of course, I'm kind of sick of those too, but this one is at least a little different, not least because, for once, we're dealing with someone who is not of the Abrahamic religions. Oh, and while I don't usually edit the person to whom I'm responding, this guy has some long-ass pauses in what he says, and I'm taking those out. If you're worried I'm editing him dishonestly, there's a link in the video's description so you can check if you don't trust me.
Problem with atheism is that it attempts to, and thus implies, a non-belief or negation of positive belief in a concept, which is God, when the concept itself can never ever correctly be argued in any logical medium or comprehended in any logical medium.
That's a problem, and frankly, it's more than a little bit shady. If I'm going to believe something is so, when the issue is existence, that something is real outside of my own mind, then it needs to be something that can be logically tested. Otherwise, why should I suspect that it really is more than my imagination? I have never gotten a satisfactory answer to this question. I always just get a rewording of what I was disputing in the first place.
Thus, by saying you are an atheist, you are asserting something, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm asserting something. I'm asserting something about me. I'm asserting that I don't believe in any gods. I'm asserting that God's PR team has done a lousy job selling their product, and I'm not buying it. You see, my atheism is about me and about my belief. The reason why I lack belief is a separate matter. And this is not the only way to have no belief in any gods. The statement made was about calling yourself an atheist. It's possible to be one without saying it or even knowing it.
You're asserting something. Are you just sitting like a frog and staring at the sky? No, words are coming out of your mouth, or words are coming on a piece of paper. You are asserting something. You're going to give me that, right? You're asserting something. Well, that's where you're religious.
So many of them try to pull this crap. I mean, why? What are they trying to do? To call us hypocrites, I suppose. You're an atheist? Well, that's your religion, so you're not really an atheist. Now shut up. But it's not just atheism. Don't believe in any gods, but you're a rabid and screaming fan of pre-Disney Star Wars? That's your religion. It's like they think that there's this religious hole in people's brains that needs to be filled with a cause, a fandom, anything about which you have strong feelings, God or no God. But being a big old fan of something doesn't make you a theist of any sort.
That is where you're religious.
Oh, come on, Chester. Open up. Tell us how you really feel.
You're asserting something about the realm of something that cannot be comprehended or thought.
Again, I'm asserting something about me. If I'm going to become a believer, that belief is going to be in something that doesn't make me look and feel like a complete numbskull. When I'm told that I have to have faith, when I'm told that God is outside of logic and must be believed without thought, well, what's going to make me seem like more of a numbskull than that?
A mature concept of God is not a man in the sky with 2 legs and a beard.
Yeah, doy. Why do you think I make fun of it?
A mature concept of God is a stopping of thought. A mature concept of God is the silence of thought.
So a mature concept of God is not thinking, having no thoughts. That's God. I'm gonna have to say bullshit. That may be spiritual, but it ain't no God. Being able to get that song on constant repeat out of my head, and who doesn't hate a nasty infestation of earworms, does not equal a deity or even a pantheistic magical universe. That's just making an EEG technician scratch their head and make sure they flip the on switch.
And anything that is not a silence of thought, such as I assert there is no God, I assert that there is no man in the sky, I assert there is no logical belief in God, you already are making statements on something that you are having a hubris can be discussed.
So now even discussing the topic is presumptuous. Do I need to point out what Skippy here is doing? Well, I guess I just did. Even so, saying that something which people believe quite strongly is not a valid topic of discussion sounds remarkably like being told to not pay attention to the man behind the curtain. Don't look too hard at the special effects. You might see the string holding up the spaceship.
How can you get out of this problem? Two ways. You can say you're agnostic.
Dude, the traditional definitions of agnosticism and atheism are outmoded and do not leave room to accurately describe people's positions. They've been updated to correct this problem. Look up agnostic atheism on Google and you'll see what I mean.
Or you can refer to the technology of Buddhism, Zen, Taoism. Zen, the gateless gate. What is the sound of one hand clapping? Do you know what the views of a Zen master are about religion, about philosophy, about politics, about the best way to get through life? The Zen master, the master of the synthesis of Mahayana Buddhism and Taoism, Zen, the Zen master, do you know what his views are? Do you know what his teachings are regarding all this? I'll tell you. He has no views.
Said it before, say it again. I debunk religion to try to get its followers to stop being jerks and using their religion as an excuse. If you're Zen master, if the guy you follow or want to be doesn't care about politics, isn't harshing on LGBT folk or starting wars, then he's not part of the problem. Go ahead, believe whatever woo-woo garbage you like. I got no problem with that. This guy's video went on for 10 minutes, but this is as far as I got before I decided it wasn't worth watching any more of it. So why did I respond to this video at all? Because, frankly, I took exception to his portrayal of atheism, the motivations of atheists, his insistence that God is illogical and must be experienced through having no thought. But most of all, his assertion that the subject can't even be discussed. I could not let that stand unchallenged. Until next time, fellow space travelers, this is BionicDance saying don't run on automatic, and I can't stress this more now than I ever have in the past. Instead, please, think. Dewey, what the hell are you doing? Get out of the way!
Sandra, this isn't right. There has to be a better way to make money than taking these assassination contracts.
Like what? What do you have in mind?
Well, have you ever considered Patreon?
Patreon? Where people donate money for those videos I'm in? Do you really think that'll pay the bills, Dewey?
Well, if people want to prevent a few international incidents, I'm sure they'll be willing to contribute. After all, what's $1 or $2 per video to forestall the occasional war, right?
Well, I suppose I could give it a try. You'd better be right about this.
Come on, Sandra, let's go home. Sandra!
What? He was right there. I'll start that Patreon thing tomorrow. Promise. You're still here? It's over. Rate the video, subscribe, and close the window. Go.